弟兄姊妹，我哋在當中，我哋大部分嘅人都係移民嚟到呢一笪嘅地方。
Brothers and sisters, and I think most of us come here because of immigration or immigrant here.
當我哋移民嘅時候，每一個移民都有唔同嘅心態喺背後。
As an immigrant, we may have a different kind of attitude of thinking when we come here.
有一啲嘅移民好想離開原居地嚟到攞到嘅身份就返去。
Some immigrants may just want to get a kind of citizenship status here and then went back to the country of origin.
佢期望嘅係一個嘅保證，一個嘅 passport。
We just want to get a passport as a protection for them.
有一啲咧，佢移民嚟，佢冇諗住翻去，不過佢係好持守翻喺原居地佢哋一啲嘅文化生活嘅習慣。
Some people, even they migrated in Canada, they still keep their identity or culture and live in that way here.
咁亦都有一啲嘅時候，佢移民咗嚟，佢嘗試去融入喺本地嗰啲嘅生活嘅方式。
Some immigrants we also want to kind of integrate into the way that the lifestyle of Canada.
弟兄姊妹，除咗喺本地出生嗰啲你係屬於邊種咧？
Yeah, brothers and sisters, besides those who born here, and what kind of immigrant you think, or what kind of attitude you have when you migrate here.
或者我哋嘗試諗代入我哋喺加拿大政府裏邊，加拿大政府期望邊一類嘅移民喺呢一個嘅地方裏邊嘅生活。
So what do you think that what the Canada government want? What kind or expect? What kind of immigration here?
我哋又諗一諗，今日我哋成為天國嘅子民。
We also maybe think of ourselves, reflect ourselves. We came ourselves as a citizens of heaven.
好多人會唔會同樣抱同樣類似嘅觀念或者態度去面對呢個天國子民嘅身份？
Maybe you also have similar attitude, being a citizen of heaven.
可能期望我哋信耶穌上天堂，我哋信咗耶穌上天堂，咁跟住嘅時候就離開教會或者同信仰冇任何扯上任何嘅關係。
So we think, oh, we accept Christ and we get some way we will get into the heaven and we don't have anything need to deal with the church anymore.
或者有啲嘅人去信咗耶穌。
Or some people may accept Christ.
但係佢仍然持守住舊有嘅生活嘅方式，或者人生嘅價值。佢係叫做基督徒，但係生活嘅樣式唔似係一個跟隨耶穌嘅人。
He still keep the same kind of lifestyle before he accepts Christ, and no one can see or believe that he or she is a Christian.
或者有一啲嘅人去信咗耶穌，去睇到神生命嘅幫助，讓佢更新，去立志去跟隨主，整個人生有一個180度嘅改變。
Some people may accept Christ and realize what God had changed his life, and he helped him or her, and then he changed his the lifestyle and follow God very closely.
弟兄姊妹，今日我哋嚟到上帝嘅面前，你問一問自己，你係屬於邊一類？
Today, when we come before the Lord today, maybe we reflect ourselves what kind of Christian we are.
或者我哋亦去諗一諗，上帝係期望邊一類嘅天國嘅子民喺我哋嘅當中？
Or maybe we also ask ourselves what God expects to us to behave like citizens of in heaven.
當我哋睇到整個嘅環境，我哋知道神翻嚟嘅日子近，我哋當然我哋要期望知道自己可以去上天堂，但係亦都同樣地，我哋上到天堂，主喜悅與否？
Of course, when we see that God is coming soon, and then we expect maybe we also in heaven very soon, but we also need to think about that will God peace with us when we are in heaven.
今日我哋喺聖經裏邊睇一個嘅人物。
Today we'll learn from a person mentioned in the Bible.
我哋唔係睇晒好 全面，但係我哋某個重要嘅部分，我哋嘗試去睇睇。
We will not study his whole life, but actually we just focus on one part of it.
特別當神呼召佢嘅時候，或者拯救佢嘅時候，
When God saved him or called him to serve him, we will study that time.
呢個簡短嘅對話對佢嘅人生，對當時嘅人嘅人生，或者甚至日後嘅人生產生一個好大嘅改變。
Even though it's such a short conversation, but there's a big change in this person's life.
呢個人物叫做馬太。
His name is called Matthew.
如果你睇聖經嘅裏邊咧，馬太除咗叫做馬太，亦都喺其他嘅福音裏邊稱為利未。
So in other, besides his name was called Matthew, in other gospel book also his name was he was named as Levi.
咁所以咧，我哋睇到講到利未，其實亦都係指到馬太呢一個人。
So when we talk about Levi, actually also mean we are talking about Matthew.
你會留意一個耶穌簡短一句嘅説話，裏邊有雙重嘅意味，呼召佢信主，亦都呼召佢去跟隨主，所以馬太成為日後嘅一個嘅門徒同埋使徒。
So even though it's a short conversation, there's two. God called him as also to accept the God and also follow Jesus, and we can see such a conversation actually make Matthew become a follower and also a disciple.
你會留意咧，一個神嘅呼召，點解三本符類對沖嘅福音同樣有記載？
So it's you can see that even it's just a calling for Matthew, all three gospel books or the subtopic gospel book talk about it.
咁裏邊我哋嘗試今日就從啲三本符類嘅福音嘅裏邊去睇一個嘅全面嘅圖畫，究竟呢一個嘅呼召帶俾我哋今日嘅基督徒有乜嘢嘅提醒，或者有咩嘅意義？
Today we will put this three Matthew, Mark, and Luke, three gospel books, and see or study the calling of Matthew in different prospects and see what the meaning for us.
希望馬太嘅經歷成為現今基督徒預備自己做一個更好嘅天國嘅子民。
And through the Matthew's experience, we may learn from him how to become a good or citizens of heaven.
喺馬太福音裏邊嘅時候記載，喺第9節講到有一個人叫做馬太坐在稅關上。
So verse 9 mentioned that there's a person, Jesus saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax collector's booth.
馬太嘅形容係馬太福音裏邊特別專稱佢叫做馬太。
It's only in Gospel Matthew called Matthew as Matthew.
咁所以即係馬太中意人哋叫佢做馬太。
That means so Matthew like people to call him Matthew instead of Levi.
點解咧？去到最後嘅時候，我話俾你聽。
We will talk about why Matthew want that at the end of this kind of close to the end of this sermon.
但係其他馬可路加都係專稱佢叫做利未嚇。
The other gospel book like Mark also just call him as Levi.
咁亦特別咧，佢路加福音裏邊形容到咧，佢係一個嘅稅吏嚇。其他兩個福音講到呢一個人坐喺稅關上，冇直接講佢係稅吏，但係路加裏邊咧，好直接講到佢坐喺稅關上，佢係一個稅吏。
In Gospel Luke mentioned that Matthew or Levi actually is a tax collector instead of just is just by chance kind of sitting by the tax collector booth.
咁我哋要明白當時嘅人坐喺稅關做稅吏唔同而家啲人揾到份工喺 CRA 度做
So we need to understand that, or as a collector, at the time is doesn't like something like an employee of CRA nowadays.
雖然我哋都唔係咁中意 CRA
Even though we don't like CRA, right?
You know. It's getting close to the tax season. Are you ready yet? 但係喺當時嗰啲嘅人咧，做稅吏咧，啲人好憎佢嘅。
Actually, people during that time kind of hate the tax collector.
點解咧？
Then why?
當時咧係羅馬政府統治嘅底下。
Right during that time, the Jews is under the Roman Empire or Roman government.
稅吏係一個猶太人，係幫羅馬政府向猶太人去收取一啲嘅稅。
So actually, as a tax collector is helping the Roman government to collect tax from the Jewish.
咁所以呢啲嘅時候，即係係咪啊？中國人就叫呢啲叫漢奸啦猶太人叫猶奸啦。
We can see this kind of a person that anti the nation, or also we can call it a kind of spy or something.
咁你會特別咧？當時啲稅吏咧，羅馬政府俾咗一個特權嚟。
So actually, as a tax collector, he has some kind of special privilege.
嗱，咁你就係羅馬政府要求嗰個嘅部分裏邊，你要幫我收，但係咧，你亦都可以自己去多收一啲，嗰啲係你嘅。
So the tax collector can collect beyond the government required. So all the extra, the tax collector can keep them themselves.
即係嗰啲叫小費。
It's kind of, yeah, you can think of the tips right now, right?
咁如果你做稅吏，你收唔收小費？
So as a collector, will you get that extra money?
係任你要幾多喎？咁你梗唔會話10%，你唔會12%，你梗係18啦，係咪？
So it's up to the tax collector to decide how much they can collect more. Actually, then you see they can collect whatever they want.
咁所以咧，當時嘅人特別猶太人係好憎嗰啲做稅吏嘅人。
You can see why those the Jews kind of hate or the tax collector.
所以喺整體嘅時候咧，稅吏同罪人咧係擺埋同一個系列嘅底下。
So that you can see why this at that time the tax collector and the sinner kind of put the same category or same kind of person.
咁所以換句話講，稅吏係咩啊？罪人一樣。
The tax collector actually people treat them as a sinner.
咁所以你喺後者嘅時候咧，嗰班法利賽人產生一個疑惑，點解你將稅吏罪人係同一齊食飯？你唔應該同佢食飯啊？係咪？嗰啲係猶奸嚟嘅咩？
That's why the Pharisee later challenged Jesus why they have dinner with the tax collector and sinner.
試想像一下。
Let's imagine.
如果你一個正常嘅人，俾你揀，
If you have a choice to be an ordinary people,
你都未必想做稅吏，
so you may not want to be a tax collector.
因為當你做稅吏嘅時候，
Because as a tax collector,
你擺低你喺整個社會裏邊嘅尊嚴人格。
so you have to put down your kind of integrity to being a tax collector.
但係當做稅吏嘅時候，你會有好豐富嘅收入。
However, in return, you will get lots of income or money.
當好豐富嘅收入同你嘅尊嚴衡量嘅時候，我情願稅吏就係情願擁抱住收入，而將尊嚴擺低。
So when we value a balance between the integrity and the money, and then as a tax collector, kind of value the money or the profit more than the integrity.
所以我哋可以聯想到馬太或者利未佢前半生嘅人生，佢係不斷希望追求金錢財富，人哋點睇佢，或者用乜嘢嘅手段唔係最重要，而最緊要我係要有最好嘅財富。
So you can see that in the early stage of life of Matthew, what he pursuing was the money and whatever wealth she can get.
你叫我罪人 ，Who care？
You call me a sinner, I don't care.
我有錢就得。
I have money, I have wealth.
呢個就係利未稅吏佢哋嘅人生嘅價值觀。
And that's the life value of being as a collector like Levi.
相信馬太利未都唔例外。
I don't think Matthew or Levi have any different in their life value.
但係你會留意呢段經文記載，當耶穌見到馬太嘅時候，對佢講一句嘅説話，就話你跟隨我，他就起來跟從了耶穌。
However, when the Bible mentioned that when Jesus saw Matthew and asked him to follow me, and Matthew got up and followed him immediately.
耶穌只講一句説話，
And Jesus just said one sentence
你嚟跟隨我。
and asked Matthew to follow me.
而馬太就即刻嗰種嘅回應。
And then Matthew responded immediately.
呢個唔容易喎。
Actually, it's not easy for us.
因為耶穌亦都喺好多嘅唔同嘅環境裏邊去呼召人去跟隨佢。
Actually, you can see Jesus have been calling lots of people in different situations.
但有好多嘅人去嘗試揾好多嘅其他嘅因素，冇即時向主嘅回應。
However, lots of them find excuse and then respond to Jesus immediately.
我哋睇路加福音第9章嘅時候，耶穌向一個人説：來跟隨我。佢話用我先去埋葬我嘅父親。
So, for example, in Luke chapter 9, when Jesus asked someone to follow him, then the people replied, Lord, first let me go and bury my father.
跟住耶穌又向一個人：你嚟跟隨我，你用我去辭別我嘅家人。
And then also Jesus asked another one to follow him, but that person also responded, I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family.
如果呢一個嘅嗰個耶穌當時嘅呼召係不斷嘅呼召嘅時候，嗰種嘅人推辭嘅回應，好似傳染一樣，個個都好似推辭。
So when Jesus tried to call out people to follow him, actually most of them you can see is kind of try to delay it.
或者可能呢一啲嘅人嘅回應係反映大多數嘅人神向佢嘅人生命裏邊作呼召，而係人係慣性係推辭。
And actually also it reflects in most cases when Jesus is calling people to follow him, people make it a general practice to delay it.
耶穌跟住對呢啲人嘅回應，呢一種嘅人嘅回應，作咗一個好清楚嘅一個嘅表達。
So Jesus expressed clearly his opinion or his thinking about all those people that rejected him.
耶穌喺62節裏邊話：手扶着犁向後看的，不配進神國。
So Jesus said, no one who put his hand to the plow and lower back is fit for serve in the kingdom of God.
耶穌講唔配。
Jesus said, it's not fit.
弟兄姊妹，今日馬太俾我哋一個好清晰嘅一個嘅榜樣。當我哋去立志要跟隨主嘅時候，呢一個係即時嘅行動。
And Matthew today shows a very good example that when Jesus called us to follow him, that we need to make an immediate decision.
如果你繼續睇聖經嘅時候，馬太呢一個行動係唔單止係帶有即時嘅回應。
So we can look further. Actually, this response not just immediately, it also.
如果你睇路加福音第28節嘅裏邊嘅時候，講到馬太利未佢就撇下所有的起來跟從了耶穌。
In chapter 8 also mentioned that Levi got up, leave everything and follow him.
利未係知道要代價。
Levi know that there has to be something to trade off.
而利未係願意去付呢個代價。
And something to trade off to follow Jesus, and he's willing to sacrifice or give up.
所以你會聯想到一樣利未喺呢一個嘅決定裏邊，佢唔再擁抱佢過去所期望 不擇手段得到嘅金錢，而係願意去擺低，去以耶穌基督為最重要。
And we can see that immediate kind of response is change his old thinking of embracing all this wealth and money rather than he want to give up everything to follow.
可能有一啲嘅人會睇到呢度嘅時候，你就會話：你未使乜咁傻啊，跟隨下耶穌就得啦。
So you may wonder or question why Levi is so kind of stupid that
象徵性就得啦。
why have to give up anything?
上到天堂就得啦。
Why have to give up everything? Because just follow Jesus, then you will get the way to heaven.
如果你有咁嘅想像，你唔明利未係諗緊啲乜嘢。
If you have that kind of questioning, then you don't know what was in Levi's mind.
邊個最明白利未？
Who understood Levi most?
保羅最明白。
Paul did.
因為點解保羅佢自己亦都係咁樣？佢喺腓立比書裏邊咁話：不但如此，我將萬事當作有損，因我以認識我主耶穌基督為至寶。
Because Paul also had the same kind of mindset of Matthew. He mentioned in the book of Philippians, I consider everything I lost compared to the surpassing greatness of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord.
跟住保羅話：我為他已經丟棄萬事，看作糞土，為要咩啊？得着基督。
And Paul said, for whose sake I have lost all things, I consider that rubbish that I may gain Christ.
過去利未人生係希望得着金錢。
In the past, Levi tried to get as much wealth as possible.
佢以為有咗金錢就有咗一切。
If he had owned all this wealth, he had owned everything.
但係利未佢擁有金錢，佢知道唔滿足到佢人生。
However, when Levi had all the money, he found it unable to satisfy his life.
當佢跟隨耶穌，佢知道去擁抱嘅唔應該係金錢，而係主耶穌。
After he followed Jesus, after Jesus calling, he knew that the most important thing is not the wealth, actually is how to willing to give up everything and follow Jesus.
一個跟隨主嘅人，佢應該係即時作回應，甚至去願意放低你過去嘅價值觀，擁抱住耶穌。
As a Jesus follower, actually, we need to make the immediate decision and willing to leave everything, the old past way of the life and follow Him.
你係點樣 follow 耶穌？
What attitude you have when we are following Jesus?
你係屬於邊一類嘅天國子民？
What kind of heaven citizen you think you are?
喺呢度我哋會有一個疑問。
Here we still have a question.
點解你未聽耶穌講一句嘅説話來跟隨，佢就會抌低所有去跟隨耶穌？
So what kind of reason or mindset that Matthew had that when Jesus called him and he immediately willing to give up everything?
我唔知會唔會呢一個係你嘅疑問。
I'm not sure that your question in your mind.
聖經冇直接去解釋。
The Bible didn't give us an answer, a strict answer.
但係我哋可以聯想，可以了解得到。
But we can kind of interpret from the scripture.
幾本福音書形容當時耶穌見到利未嘅時候，利未喺邊度啊？
So remember when the gospel mentioned that Jesus met Matthew in where?
喺邊度啊？坐喺稅關上。
In the tax collector booth.
唔係喺 CRA 個 office 度。
It's not in the head office, or kind of the CRA.
流動 office 去捉你去抽稅。
Actually, this is kind of moving booth that try to catch the people they not willing to pay for tax.
呢啲 booth 係 public 㗎嘛。
This booth is open. It's an open area.
呢啲喺 public 嘅地方最好係咩啊？收料啊嘛。
So in this kind of public open area, that is the best place to collect kind of news.
人來人往，邊度發生咩事喺個 booth 裏邊見到聽到係咪？
So there's so many pass by and people been talking around the booth. Then there's lots of news or message Matthew can get.
咁我哋就嘗試從路加福音睇睇，究竟當時利未嘅睇有啲咩？
So maybe we may get from the Gospel of Luke to see what message that or news that Matthew got before.
嗱，同一章路加福音第5章嘅裏邊，一開始記載咩？
In the early Gospel of Luke chapter 5, it recorded that.
耶穌叫彼得打魚。
So Jesus asked Simon Peter to fishing.
咁啊，西門彼得，我哋整嘢勞力都冇啊，但按常理咧，我就即管下網啦。
So the response from Simon was, "Oh, I've been trying hard the whole day and can't catch anything." Okay, anyway, because you asked, I tried to.
嗰一網打咗好多嘅魚。
And however, then that night they catch a lot of fish.
西門彼得嘅反應係乜嘢？
So what's the response from Simon Peter?
主啊，離開我吧，我係一個罪人。
And Simon Peter responded, "Go away from me, Lord. I'm a sinful man."
嗱，俾你會點答啊？
If you were Simon Peter, how would you respond?
你明知自己嘅經驗打唔到嘅魚，跟從耶穌打到魚，話耶穌嘅身份、耶穌嘅能力非同小可，你跟從佢應該冇死啊！但係你彼得嘅反應啊，我係罪人啊！你唔好唔好行開啲啊！
So imagine that Simon Peter, as a very experienced fisherman, cannot catch anything. Then when they follow Jesus and they catch so much fish, then the response will be, "Oh, you are such a great person that I was willing to follow you." This should be the normal response. But how come he respond that, ask God to go away?
試想像一下，如果你係當時嘅利未聽到西門彼得咁講，你會有咩反應？
So imagine or think if you were Matthew at that time and you heard this story, news about Simon Peter, what you will respond?
可能利未講：你都傻嘅，彼得，我都係罪人啊！我義得耶穌嚟叫我啊！
So Levi may respond that, "Oh, Simon Peter is kind of not smart now. That if I were Simon Peter, I'm expect God will come or Jesus will come and do the same thing to me."
如果耶穌嚟叫我啊，呼召我，我應我講俗啲係反應啊，係咪？
With Jesus willing
不過呢
to
啲中國人先會咁講，猶太人唔係食飯啫。
maybe in Levi's mind in that time already they think, "Oh, I have the same experience as Simon Peter that Jesus want to call me, I will accept it right away."
可能你未有咁樣嘅期望。
That may be Levi's expectation.
記唔記得前2個星期我哋睇憐憫嘅時候，記載耶穌醫治一個長大麻風嘅人。
Remember several weeks ago when we talk about God's mercy and we learn about a story about a leprosy.
我哋當時佢講到耶穌唔單止嗰個人要求啊，主若肯，你叫我潔淨，主唔單止講我願意，而且即刻將手去觸摸呢個病人。
We talk about that when the leprosy asked for the healing from Jesus, Jesus not just say yes, but he also willing to touch him to heal him.
呢個動作
And this action touching
唔單止感動當時嗰個大麻風患者，
not just move the leprosy.
呢個消息亦都傳遍喺當地。
Actually, this news have been passed around that area.
可能當時嘅人，你知唔知啊？耶穌去觸摸嗰個大麻風嘅病者。
Maybe people just talk about Jesus. Oh, do you know Jesus? He's willing, have mercy and touching the man with leprosy.
嗰 冇人敢掂佢嘅，耶穌掂佢喎。
No one even dared to touch him, but Jesus was willing to.
可能啲人係散一個負面嘅消息，哎呀，所以我哋見到耶穌都小心啲啊。
Actually, the news may be very negative for Jesus that, oh, if you see Jesus, you should stay away because he may got the sickness.
可能你未聽到呢個消息，
Also, Levi may heard that news too.
佢個內心會有咩反應？
Well, what do you think that Levi will respond?
你哋見到個個見到我都彈開啦。
So Levi may think that, oh, actually, no one want to get close to me.
我巴不得耶穌伸隻手嚟摸下我。
And I really hope that I like the leprosy that Jesus will come, willing to come get close to me and touch me.
可能啲片段浮現喺利未嘅腦海嘅當中。
You can imagine all this news or message have been in Levi's mind for a long time.
所以當耶穌出現喺佢嘅面前，同佢講來跟從我，利未即時嘅回應，我哋可以理解。
So when Jesus appeared to show up to Levi, and you can imagine why that Levi respond immediately.
喺我哋嘅人生，曾幾何時我哋面對好多嘅憂谷、好多困難嘅時候，我哋好期望耶穌你嚟觸摸我嘅生命。當耶穌觸摸我哋嘅時候，我哋有冇好似利未即時作一個回應，做一個徹底嘅回應？
In our life, there may be a lot of situations that we fell into the emotional valley that we want Jesus and God come and touch us and help us. But when God come to you, will you respond immediately like Levi?
馬太好明白耶穌需要乜嘢人嘅跟隨。
Matthew really understand, or we understood that what kind of person Jesus want or expect to follow him.
所以喺馬太福音第16章裏邊記載，耶穌嘅要求係咩啊？若有人要跟從我，就當捨己背起他的十架來跟從我。
That's why in the chapter 16 of Matthew, he mentioned clearly that if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
因為凡要救自己生命，必喪掉生命；凡為我喪掉生命，必得着生命。
Because for whoever want to save his life, you lost it, but whoever lost his life for me will find it.
特別呢句說話，我相信好震動馬太佢嘅內心嘅價值觀。
And actually, I think the last sentence here will really reflect God's Matthew's value.
嗱，我哋一齊讀第26節。
Maybe all read together verse 26.
人若賺得全世界，賠上自己嘅生命，有什麼益處呢？人還能拿什麼換生命？ 馬太好知道乜嘢叫跟隨主。
Matthew really understood what's the meaning of following Jesus.
馬太好知道要價值觀改變。
We know that this value has to change.
馬太亦都作咗個即時立志跟隨主嘅行動。
And Matthew also make immediate response and determined to follow Jesus.
你要做一個乜嘢形式嘅天國嘅子民？
So what kind or what attitude you should have being heaven citizen?
你嘅跟隨主
You willing to follow Jesus?
同耶穌期望嘅跟隨主有冇落差？
Your meaning of following Jesus and God's meaning of following Him are they aligned?
求主讓馬太佢呢個行動成為你同我嘅提醒，甚至祝福。
May Matthew's action and story be as a reminder for us how to follow Jesus.
你會留意跟住呢一個嘅情況，當馬太去跟隨主嘅時候，佢做咗一個行動。
And also when we see after Matthew followed Jesus, he takes some action.
嗰個嘅鏡頭唔係再喺稅關，而喺馬太嘅家裏邊。
The scenes move from the tax collector booth to the Matthew's house.
聖經講到耶穌在 屋裏坐席。中文聖經咁樣形容，但係英文聖經係講係馬太佢嘅屋企裏邊。
So Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house.
路加去形容咧，馬太係為耶穌大盤宴席，即係唔係食餐飯去大。
So Luke also mentioned that it's just not just an ordinary dinner. Actually, it's a great banquet for Jesus at his house.
而呢個筵席係特別為耶穌而設嘅。
And this banquet is especially for Jesus.
點解馬太要請耶穌食飯？
So why Matthew wanted to have a great banquet for Jesus?
請耶穌食飯唔係得救嘅條件嚟。
For sure, it's not a condition for being saved.
但呢個請耶穌食呢餐飯嘅時候，係馬太一個自然嘅流露嚟。
However, this kind of hosting this banquet actually is a natural response to what he have done following Jesus.
但係如果馬太只係想多謝款待耶穌，嗰餐飯應該係有耶穌就算。
So with this banquet, just as a thank you for Jesus, besides the host, another guest to be just Jesus.
或者請埋佢啲門徒啦。
And maybe also invite Jesus' disciple at that time.
但係馬太喺當時裏邊唔係淨係食餐飯，係大盤宴席，請晒好多佢以前嘅朋友同僚一齊嚟。
But we can see this is not the case. It's not just a dinner with Jesus and his disciple. Actually, it's a quick banquet and have guests from all of the collectors and of the guests of the tax collectors and others.
點解馬太要咁做？
So why Matthew or Levi have to do that?
個重點唔係餐飯。
The focus or the main point is not about the banquet.
馬太好想佢自己可以我本來係一個罪人，我喺罪人嘅行列，我而家去跟隨主，人生改變，佢期望嘅係乜嘢？
So in that's mine, and I was a sinner, now I'm saved, and my life changed. So what you think Matthew want to do?
佢期望佢自己嗰啲嘅以前嘅同行或者佢嘅朋友都同樣得到耶穌嘅祝福。
So Matthew want another person like the other tax collector and anyone that also get the blessing from God or from Jesus.
呢個筵席個重點唔係食乜嘢。
The banquet is not about what kind of food they had.
呢個筵席嘅重點係一個福音嘅筵席，讓到佢嘅同伴都好似佢有機會去跟隨耶穌。
Actually, the banquet is opportunity for anyone to understand the gospel and be saved like Jesus, by Jesus, like him, like
所以
the five.
馬可去形容捕捉到嗰個結果係乜嘢呢？因為這樣的人多，他們也跟隨耶穌啊。
And so Matthew mentioned that as a result, there are many who follow Jesus after the banquet.
一齊去跟隨住主耶穌。
So there are lots of people follow him, and they all follow him.
筵席變咗一個福音嘅機會。
And this banquet become an opportunity for the gospel or spreading the gospel.
一個跟隨主嘅人，
As a follower of Christ or Lord,
佢唔單止自己跟隨主，佢一定好想將呢個最好嘅禮物同佢嘅朋友、家人一齊嘅分享。
so as a follower of Jesus, not just he want to follow Jesus himself, and also he want his friends, his family, anyone to know and follow Jesus.
呢一個馬太請食飯呢個行動，
So this Matthew's banquet
mean you have to let someone to join you。 唔單止喺當時成為一個好大嘅震撼。
It's not just a big event during that time.
喺日後裏邊都產生好大嘅影響。
Actually, this event has impact from generations to generations.
好多地方裏邊有一個嘅事工叫做 Matthew's House Ministry。
In lots of places, there's a service called Matthew's House Ministry.
馬太呢一個嘅行動，成為一個日後歷世歷代嘅教會或者機構裏邊一個福音嘅事工。
Is this Matthew's action of to preparing this banquet become a kind of a ministry service for a lot of church or in generations?
Matthew House 將有一啲嘅地方開放俾一啲難民嘅居住。
Because of Matthew's house, they place that open the door for the refugees.
有啲坐監出嚟冇地方住，去接待、去幫助。
Some people out of jail and have no place to live. The Matthew's house accept them and have the place to rest.
有一啲屋企有家暴嘅情況，唔知道喺邊度住，去接待佢哋。
So also the case that is in family or harassment, they also open their door to accept those victims.
讓呢啲成為一個福音嘅機會，祝福更多嘅人。
And make all these activities or service become an opportunity for gospel spreading.
Bill Hybels 佢有本書叫做《Just Walk Across the Room》。
So Bill Hybels offered a book called Just Walk Across the Room.
呢個唔係新嘅書，我哋10幾年前我哋成個教會都睇過。
This is an old kind of book published more than a century, a decade ago.
裏邊有一個嘅行動係好好，叫做Matthew House 或者 Matthew Banquet。
So the book mentioned a service, just like it's called Matthew's
Actually,
house.
it's a Matthew party.
Called Matthew's house, or in the book called Matthew's party.
Matthew party 就係咩？鼓勵啲信徒咧，你生日啊，結婚紀念日啊，特別嘅日子啊，請你啲朋友去你屋企食餐飯，將呢一個機會成為一個福音嘅機會。
So every party asks the Christian that when during special day like the birthday or anniversary, invite friends or family to come to the house to celebrate, and during that time uses the opportunity to spread the gospel.
其實好有意思嘅。
Actually, it's really meaningful.
不過中國人可能有少少會好容易走歪咗。
But as a Chinese, maybe sometime we may kind of little bit overdone.
Yeah, overdone. Yeah, you used the word very good, right? I will overcook. 中國人會係擺好多嘅時間去煮嘢食煮乜嘢，但可能忽略咗別有個機會去成為一個福音嘅機會。
The Chinese or that we may spend too much time and prepare the banquet or the food rather than spend more time to talk about the gospel.
但係如果擺翻個原意，接待人嚟到成為一個福音嘅機會，係一個好得個無比嘅事。
So if we go back to the original meaning of party or banquet, that then we should spend is actually the opportunity for spreading gospel.
保羅喺哥林多前書第9章裏邊話：無論如何，總要救些人。凡我所行，都是為福音嘅緣故，為要與人同得福音嘅好處。
As mentioned in the 1 Corinthians, that I may say some, I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings.
之前講到保羅，我喺猶太人當中我做猶太人，喺外邦人中我做外邦人，軟弱嘅人我哋做軟弱嘅人，無論何人，無論如何，我都總要救些人。
So as Paul said here, that to the weak I become weak, to win the weak I have become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I may save some.
凡我所行，是為福音嘅緣故，為要與人同得福音嘅好處。
I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings.
呢個係馬太嘅心願。
This is the will of Matthew, that to share the benefit of the gospel with others.
呢個係馬太嘅期望。
Actually, is what Matthew want to do.
佢唔單止讓耶穌祝福佢，亦都讓耶穌祝福佢所有嘅朋友。
Matthew not just want God, Jesus' blessing for himself, also he want to want everyone get God's blessing.
唔係個個人都會信耶穌㗎，佢呢啲朋友係咪？但係 who knows？但係俾個機會佢。
Of course, not everyone will accept Christ, but we need to give anyone or everyone an opportunity.
但係個重點係與人同得福音嘅好處。
And the key point here is we want to share the benefit of the gospel with others.
弟兄姊妹，
Brothers and sisters,
你幾時生日？
what's your birthday?
讓呢個你嘅生日成為以 Matthew party 成為一個樣式。
May you take the opportunity of your birthday and use Matthew's party to share the gospel.
弟兄姊妹，
Brothers and sisters,
最後，
and lastly,
我哋睇呢段經文嘅時候，喺呢一個嘅筵席裏邊出現一啲冇期望嘅事。
So the Bible mentioned there is something unexpected to happen about this banquet.
聖經裏邊講到呢啲嘅法利賽人出現。
The scripture mentioned about the Pharisees.
馬太福音形容到呢班法利賽人向耶穌嘅門徒發出一個嘅疑問。
The Gospel of Matthew mentioned that the Pharisees have a question to the disciples.
你哋嘅先生為什麼和稅吏並罪人一同吃飯啊？
Why does a teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?
一個疑問。
It's a question.
其實呢班法利賽人唔係淨係一個疑問。
Actually, the Pharisees don't just have one question or doubt.
馬太喺路加福音去記載講得好清楚，當時其實嗰班法利賽人係同埋文士向耶穌嘅門徒咩啊發怨言啊！
Actually, the book of Luke mentioned clearly that actually the Pharisee and the teacher is complaining about Jesus to the disciple.
作為 host 馬太，
As the banquet host, Matthew,
你會有咩感受？
so what do you think with the host of the party or banquet is what's Matthew?
我請晒啲朋友嚟，耶穌喺度，耶穌亦都聽到法利賽人睇到，向佢門徒去產生疑問，又發怨言。你係馬太，你當時有咩感受？
So we were the host like Matthew, and then after the banquet, you get the complaint or the question from others. What do you think?
可能你內心裏邊即刻浮現一個真係唔好意思啦，耶穌。
So you may have this thinking, oh, I feel so sorry for you, Jesus.
或者可能望到啲朋友，哎呀唔好意思啊，搞到你哋俾人話唔好意思啊，你哋咁難落台。
Or maybe you also talk to your friends, oh, I feel sorry for you because you are kind of part of this complaint.
嗰班法利賽人宗教界嘅領袖，佢話 點解耶穌要同罪人稅吏一齊吃飯？咁我仲可唔可以跟隨耶穌？我得唔得救？
So those Pharisees and the leader of the religious is questioning or complaining that about the banquet. Then what I have done. So should I still keep on to follow Jesus?
法利賽人一句簡單嘅疑問，可能搖動咗當時嘅馬太，甚至佢嘅朋友整個嘅氣氛。
So the complaint from the Pharisee and the teacher may have shaken the belief or the Matthew and also all his friends.
但係請留意聖經點講。
However, the Bible mentions
正因為呢班法利賽人發出嘅疑問，
just because the complaint or the question from the Pharisees,
聖經記載耶穌喺呢一個嘅筵席講嘅説話。
the Bible recorded the speech by Jesus.
耶穌對住佢哋講咗一樣嘢，佢話看見嘅人用不着醫生，有病嘅人先用得着啊！
So on hearing that, Jesus said to those Pharisees, "It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick."
係咪？你咩情況去揾醫生啊？除咗親戚之外，
So in what situation you will see a doctor or you need a doctor?
你梗係病先去啦，係
Of
咪？
course, when you're sick.
係咪？make sense 啊？誒，跟住耶穌再講啦，佢就話：我來本不是召義人，乃是召罪人啊嘛。
And Jesus said, "I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance."
呢句説話正好代表耶穌俾一個肯定馬太，我嚟就係為罪人而嚟。
And this speech of Jesus affirmed or strengthened the Matthew that the reason Jesus came is to accept the sinners.
我嚟就係要呼召你哋，
Jesus came is to call the people.
明白？呢句説話其實好震撼㗎。
Actually, this is really this sentence actually is really.
請你記住啊！
May you remember that.
我都係靠呢句説話帶我哥信主嘅。
Just because of this sentence, I encourage my brother to accept Christ.
弟兄姊妹，邊個冇罪？
Brother, sister, who have no sin.
你明嗎？原來呢個疑問產生耶穌一句嘅 statement， 呢個 statement 係震撼、提醒或者幫助歷世歷代嘅人去嚟到擁抱住耶穌。
And because of the Pharisees' complaint, then there is the Jesus have that statement that is be used or encourage all the people from generations.
係啊，你要去傳福音，可能啲人未必接納你，或者未必中意你，甚至講好多嘅嘢，將呢個情況交俾耶穌啦。
So yes, that when you spread the gospel, when you outrage, lots of people may complain or question about you, but leave all this issue to your Jesus.
讓耶穌去説話啦。
And let Jesus to speak or make the sentence.
神能夠將危機化為轉機。
God can change the crisis into opportunities.
你知唔知呢句説話對馬太產生幾大嘅意義價值？
Do you know that how valuable or precious this sentence or to what's the impact of this sentence to Matthew's life?
三本福音只係記咗呢一句説話，
All three gospel all mention this,
但係馬太福音多咗一句。
and the gospel of Matthew has one more sentence.
馬太福音裏邊多咗話：我喜愛憐恤，不喜愛祭祀。這句話嘅意思，你們自己去揣摩。
So the gospel of Matthew mentioned that go and learn what this means. I decide mercy, not sacrifice.
呢句説話代表馬太就揣摩到啦。
So that means Matthew understood.
其他人以為呢句説話唔緊要，唔係啊！馬太話呢句説話特別緊要，特別對我啊！
So Matthew responded, "Oh, this was that statement from Jesus had changed, is very important to me. Let me know more about mercy.
耶穌呢個引用係特別為馬太講，佢話我喜愛憐恤，不喜愛祭祀。
So this actually, so Jesus said that especially for Matthew that I deserve mercy, not sacrifice.
馬太揣摩到咩啊？
So what Matthew catch from it?
耶穌接納我係一個憐恤嘅表現嚟㗎。
So Jesus, accept me because of mercy.
耶穌接納你係一個憐恤你嘅表現嚟㗎。
Jesus accept you also because of mercy.
你冇忽略咗耶穌嘅接納啊！
Don't ignore or neglect that God's acceptance and mercy.
耶穌呢句説話，亦都讓當時嘅法利賽人有一個深切嘅反省。
And also, Jesus used the sentence to give a chance for the Pharisees to reflect themselves.
弟兄姊妹，呢段經文對我哋係咩意思？
So, brother, sister, what this sentence means for us?
我哋唔係唔知道傳福音好，
We know that it's good, it's a benefit for us to
但
spread the
可
gospel.
能我哋做一啲嘅舉動，我哋會可能同當時馬太面對嘅情況一樣，我哋會怕。
However, we may also fear, like Matthew did at that time, that we may fear to spread it.
哎呀，怕啲人反感，怕啲人啲人唔中意耶穌，怕好多嘅嘢，呢個怕就會影響我哋行前一步為福音而擺上。
You may fear that people may against us, or we may displease people, and then we gave up.
甚至我哋放棄好多本來係一個機會，讓人去跟隨主、認識主嘅機會，但因為我哋怕，去放棄咗。
As a result, we may give up lots of opportunity that would be good for spreading gospel.
馬太提醒我哋，與其怕，與其放棄，將呢個嘅情況交託俾主。
Matthew reminds us and encourage us that instead of giving up, we should leave all this issue to God and Jesus to deal with it.
主成為一個福音嘅機會。
And let God to help us to handle all this gospel opportunity.
弟兄姊妹嚟緊 Good Friday 咗個零禮拜啊！
So, brother and sister, the Good Friday will be coming soon.
4月3號 Easter Sunday 4月5號。
So, Good Friday is on April 3rd, and then Easter Sunday will be on April 5th.
哎呀，我中意睇 movie 㗎，唔係淨係你嚟。
Oh, I like the movie. Then you should also not just you come to.
神透過 movie 拯救你哋，都透過 movie 去邀請讓你嘅親友嚟到去認識神。
So God used the movie to save you, and also it's an opportunity for you to invite people to enjoy the movie and be saved.
哎呀，嗰啲人啊唔會嚟㗎。
You may think, oh, those people I invite won't come.
Who knows？
Who knows?
我都叫你好多次啊。
I asked you many times before.
Who knows 邊一次得啫？
Who knows what was the time?
但係點解
they
你
ready
攔
for
咗
you?
人哋去認識福音嘅機會？
But why you fear or become an obstacle of letting people have that opportunity?
弟兄姊妹，我哋有幾耐冇去邀請過人返教會？
Brother, sister, how many time? How long you have been?
哎呀，佢哋
inviting
唔會
anyone to
嚟啊！
come?
佢哋點樣啊？佢哋中意大教會。Who knows？
So you may think, oh, no one will come. They don't like this church. Who knows?
今日越南嗰個都上咗嚟啦。
Even someone from Vietnam is willing to come.
弟兄姊妹，
Brothers and sisters,
讓呢個 Good Friday，讓呢個 Easter Sunday 成為你嘅朋友一個聽福音嘅機會。
May this Good Friday, so Easter Sunday celebration be an opportunity for your friends or family to listen to the gospel.
我印咗一啲嘅單張
I have some leaflets.
All you can pick，
You can pick whatever you want and how many you want.
但係唔好 keep 咗喺屋企。
But don't keep it at home and use it to give it to your
你試下邀請一個朋友啊！
May take this opportunity to invite at least one friend.
你邀請一啲好耐冇返教會嘅人，
Invite someone that hasn't been in church for a while.
邀請呢啲朋友去嚟，我嚟唔到，叫佢上網咯。
Invite someone that ask them to come if they can't come to church, so they may join online.
post 咗喺教會嘅 website 㗎啦。
The leaflet or the news have been posted on the
呢個 QR code 唔
church.
識 scan 咪撳隔離條 link 咯，同一條 link 嚟啫嘛，係咪？
You don't know how to join, and just a link also on that page they can join.
弟兄姊妹，
Brothers and sisters,
當你未預備好你嘅馬太筵席之前，教會預備咗一個福音筵席，讓你去邀請你嘅朋友嚟。
brothers, when you are preparing the Matthew's party, actually before that, you will already have something for you to invite your friends and families.
每一個福音好似嘅危機，保羅經歷好多。
When you try to spread the gospel, it seems there's always kind of crisis or something happened. Actually, Paul has experienced all this.
保羅俾人打過啊！
So Paul was persecuted or beaten by someone.
但保羅講：我哋傳福音都未到流人血嘅地步啫，
And Paul said,
都未死係咪？
during my, I would spread the gospel to an extent that I need to die yet.
但保羅經歷，佢每一次困難，有主站在佢嘅旁邊，加佢力量，讓佢將福音盡到全明。
When Paul was at the time when Paul experienced the crisis or difficulty during the gospel, Paul said, "But the Lord stood at my side and gave me the strength, so that through me the message may be fully proclaimed."
教會條 link send 俾你嘅朋友，
So send the WebEx link to your friends,
send 俾你啲親戚，
send it to your relatives or families.
攞啲單張去派。
Took some leaflet and distribute it to whoever you want.
馬太生命嘅改變，神亦都期望馬太嘅改變喺你同我當中去改變。
So Matthew has a life turning point, and also God wants us to have a kind of turning point in our life.
馬可、路加好中意稱呢個人叫做利未。
Luke like to call Matthew actually is as Levi.
In the book of Mark and then in the book of Luke, they always use the Levites. Levites 嘅意思係咩？聯合。
The meaning of Levi actually means unity, united.
以前利未嘅人生就同錢亂埋一齊。
In the past or in the early stage of his life, Levi united with the money or wealth.
馬太好想你叫佢做馬太，
Actually, Matthew really want you to call him Matthew instead of Levi.
叫馬太，唔好叫馬太嚇。OK，
Yeah, please call me
Matthew。
Matthew.
You know, beautiful name. You know, Matthew 嘅意思係咩啊 ？Matthew 佢係神嘅恩賜。
Actually, the meaning of Matthew is God's gift.
今日我蒙上帝嘅拯救，神嘅恩賜嚟。
Today, I experience God's salvation. This is God's gift.
神俾我恩賜，我要將我哋嘅恩賜去回應上主。
I got God's gift. I also need to respond to God's gift.
請問你一個問題，
May I ask you one question?
如果你答唔到嘅就我好失望。
You can't answer. I will be really disappointed.
馬太呢個人，佢最大嘅成就係做乜嘢？
So, what's the greatest contribution of Matthew?
你認識馬太呢個名，你係認識乜嘢啊？
Where you learn from the name of Matthew.
嚇？
Gospel of Matthew.
馬太福音啊
The
嘛，
Gospel of Matthew.
係咪啊？馬太最大嘅成就係咩啊？寫咗本福音書咯。
His greatest contribution is actually he was the author of the book of the Gospel of Matthew.
明嗎？以前嘅才幹係咩啊？你爭幾多歲啊？哇，5000？唔係喎，5萬喎。而家我要忠忠實實將神嘅事蹟一一寫好，讓人去清楚認識耶穌就係上帝嘅意志。
So in the past, Matthew used his talent actually to as a tax collector to take benefit. Now, and then he used his talent to record the message, God's message clearly to benefit others.
試想像一下，馬太用佢呢一個嘅恩賜去寫馬太福音，祝福當時嘅時代，祝福初期嘅教會，祝福歷世歷代嘅教會，甚至祝福到現在嘅人。
So let's think that Matthew used his talent as God's gift to prepare or write the Gospel of Matthew to not just benefit the people during that time, the early church, or even the people nowadays.
我相信馬太寫馬太福音都冇諗住會留咁耐。
I think that even Matthew didn't expect that the Gospel of Matthew will be used even nowadays.
佢只有心將佢嘅才幹用翻喺神度。
So you want to use God's gift or talent for God's benefit.
今日你嘅才幹係乜嘢啊？
So what is the gift you have today?
你要繼續聯合同其他嘅壞習慣聯合，定係找緊神喺你生命裏邊係你最大嘅禮物，用神俾你嘅才幹去回應上主。
Are you going to unite your gift with still the bad habit, or you want to use it for the benefit of God?
天國嘅子民，
As heaven's Christian citizen,
你係邊一種天國嘅子民？
what kind of heaven's citizen you think you are?
神要求係邊一種天國嘅子民？
What God expects, what kind of citizen you are?
你需要點樣改變，以致你成為上主喜悅嘅天國嘅子民？
How you change your life so such that you are pleased by God as a Christian, as a citizen of heaven.
你馬太佢嘅人生，佢嘅呼召係我哋一個嘅榜樣。
And the life of Matthew and the calling of Matthew actually is a good example we should follow.
你又要點樣做一個天國嘅子民？
So how would you behave or change your life to become God's heaven citizen?